Hi, good morning. Guess it's game dev time? So it's been a good couple of days. I don't actually track how long I work on game dev between each devlog. I just know I do a couple of things that I want to do, which by this point I've completed a good amount of what I was planning to do, so let's walk through it. So the first couple of things I added were some changes to the movement code to make it more realistic and make it more forgiving for the player. I added coyote time, which is basically you can run off the ledge. You don't lose your ability to jump right when you leave the edge. You have like 2 or 3 frames of extra space just to make it more forgiving. After scanning the movement code over and over again, I figured out how to make the falling feel less floaty, so you could actually fall faster. But also maintain like the super smooth jumping without making it feel pingy like my old game was. I'm also thinking of adding other stuff like vertical pixel forgiveness. It's like what they have in Celeste, which, by the way, it was a super huge case study for good platform mechanics for me. So that's like where I thought of and sort of brainstormed most of my platform mechanic ideas was from Celeste. But that'll come later down the line once I figure out how the collision code works. You know how at the end of the last episode I said, I don't know, I might get doing saving and loading mechanics? Well, that's the first thing I did. I realized I wanted a system that allowed me to have control over saving information throughout levels without using like the GameMaker persistent thing. So I went through and wrote my own code for it using DS maps and DS grids. And it was all based on like pixelated Pope's DS map save system and that kind of stuff that actually helped me a lot. But now understanding how saving and loading works, I'm going to start writing my own code for it. So that should be pretty good. I just got some work done on saving and loading like objects in the game. So basically items and stuff, if you pick them up, they'll be gone from the game, and like they save the coordinates and everything like that. I'm still working on inventory saving. The actual inventory actually saves, it's just there's some bugs in the when you load it back in, stuff doesn't work that well. But yeah, we're gonna see how this goes. It should go pretty spicily, I hope. Okay, so I figured it out, right? So essentially this is supposed to be DS grid right, like I had in the entity save. To DS grid right, I was just saving the inventory to the thing, so it doesn't save that as anything. But now I can do stuff. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just pick up like all the items here, right? We have our full inventory. Let's like throw 5 items down here. You know, perfect. I'm gonna save it. I have enter as save. I'm gonna stop the game and then load the game. There we go. Everything loads exactly where it was, which is fantastic. That's fantastic. My clapping is really loud. It should be all working now, and that's perfect. I mean, there's still other things that we need to save, like once we have progress and stuff, but with how the save system works, you can just add something with a new key, and it's pretty simple to keep it, you know, in the game. Alright, so I just finished up some really quick stuff on like level transitions and stuff. So if you just take a look here, we have the player who can move around. Inventory and save stuff all works as before. Imagine this is like 2 layers, right? So you have like one room here and one room here. When you enter a door, it transitions to this room here, and like that. And then we also have the side-by-side ones where you go from one side to the other side. So this one here, we click, we transition in like, it's sort of like a door, I guess, and we can go through, so that way we can have sort of this z-axis depth. And then we also have these side-to-side ones, and it's just a simple fade to black transition for now. I don't think we need anything more than that because it's pretty smooth as it is right now. So that's where we're at right now. It's pretty cool. We're just gonna keep going, keep chugging at it, you know. And now let's do some level design. So I wanted to throw together a prototype level that felt good to play even with just the gray boxes that we have. So I built one, and for some reason I don't know what happened. My game just started breaking. It just didn't work. It kept bugging out. So I decided to reset it, go back to scratch, and just duplicate the original room, which worked. And then I rebuilt it, and it still wasn't that great. I mean, it was a playable level, but I sort of built it in the maker and I didn't know what I wanted the level to look like yet. Yeah, it was okay. It was passable. And so at that point, it had a passable level. I'm like, okay, cool, we'll take a pause here. But it still wasn't that great. So a few days passed, and I got kind of tired of game dev, so I decided, hey, you know what, let's clean up my desk. And my computer was overheating a little bit, and you know, I thought just everything should just be refreshened a little bit. So I went through and cleaned up my entire desk area, and vacuumed out my computer with a suck. Anyways, it's time to redo the level again. This time I built a level that was inspired by the city of Anarchy, which Kevin showed me a while back. This is what it looks like, by the way. It's a really cool, like walled city, like really big towering thing, at least based on the pictures. And so that's what I wanted the first level to sort of have the feeling of, but I couldn't design something with that size and that scope because, you know, my brain is kind of slow. But instead I took like a quarter of a cross section and built it up from there. It's not really the best, still it's not exactly what we wanted, but it's okay, you know. And now that it's done on paper, let's throw it into the game and see how it runs. There's a lot of things that still aren't great about it. I mean, ramps are hard to implement at the moment, and also they're not super necessary. I feel like they're great, but also because we have jumping, you know, having like the actual jumping onto like certain height platforms seems more fun than running up a ramp. There's a lot of things that, you know, I went through and fixed, making it a bit more forgiving. I also added some things to make it so I can get through it without screwing up, because we don't have a proper respawn and level reset system yet. But that's basically it, and bam, look, that's our first level. And with that done, we can start, you know, using that as our prototype mission and, you know, start building our first prototype of the game around that, and that's sort of how the game was going to feel. There's also some elements such as like the sort of hostile rooms or like the combat rooms, which feel kind of dry right now because again we don't have combat implemented. We don't have that kind of system implemented yet, so we haven't done any of the entities. But at the moment we have a lot of the platforming stuff done, which is, you know, it's pretty good. It's really good. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna wrap it up there. For next devlog, hopefully we'll have combat done. Also, I know that N is working on sprites and stuff, and I'll also be helping out with sprite work a little bit. So we'll be doing a lot of the artwork stuff, and then hopefully working towards the first prototype level. And then once we have all the building blocks in place, we can start doing the level designs and implementing the story, that kind of stuff. But that's where I'm going to leave it off today, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. See ya.